Puyo Puyo Tetris, a mashup of my two favorite puzzle games of all time. I've spent countless hours in this game alone, and dozens more in the various other games from each series. And it looks like tomorrow, May 7th, Sega will be releasing a new puzzle game, Puyo Puyo Champions, a follow-up of sorts to Puyo Puyo Tetris. Originally released in October 2018 as the Japanese exclusive Puyo Puyo Esports, this game is built on the same code as Puyo Tetris, but has a much stronger emphasis on competitive Puyo play. So I know what you must be thinking, so it's just Puyo Tetris without the Tetris, right? And that's what a lot of reviews are saying, but that's not entirely true. Yes, Tetris is removed, and yes, it reuses a lot of assets from PPT, but it's not simply a stripped down version of the game. A lot of people seem to think that if you'd already own PPT, this game doesn't have any value for you. So let's talk about that first. Now, if you're watching this and you don't even have PPT or any other Puyo game, go ahead and try the free demo on the eShop, and if you enjoy it, come back and I'll try to help you decide if Tetris or Champions is the right game for you. Now, is there any point to buying this game? Honestly, that really depends on what you're looking for. If you find Puyo Puyo pretty cool but don't really want to spend the time learning the mechanics and have no interest in PvP, Champions is not really for you. Stick with PPT, it still lets you play Puyo and has tons of single player content. If you want a fun puzzle game to play with your friends and you know for a fact they don't want to learn Puyo Puyo, then Champions is also not really that ideal. Puyo Tetris has way more modes for people not interested in Puyo. You have Party Mode, you have Big Bang, and you have Standard Tetris, and much more. Then who is Puyo Champions actually for? I'd say it's for people who really care about learning the ins and outs of Puyo Puyo. Sure, it may seem like for just about everyone, PPT is the fuller package, but if you're more serious about learning Puyo, this game does offer some clear advantages over PPT. For one, it adds back in Fever Mode. We haven't seen that since the last dedicated Puyo game, which was Sega's 2004 hit Puyo Pop Fever. This mode's not really the standard for competitive play, but it's still pretty interesting. And the altered gameplay does mean that you have to think differently, and since in this mode you can only enter Fever by countering, it really rewards more patient players. So you have to keep an eye on your opponent more, as striking first could give them the advantage if you don't play it just right. Second, replays are now saved by default, so if you made an awesome play, you no longer have to worry about manually saving it. And the replay system has been completely overhauled. In PPT you could pause videos and change the speed, and that's it. No rewinding or anything else. In Champions, every replay is automatically timestamped based on various events from the match. Chains, counters, or even the end of each set. So you can skip forwards and back as much as you want, and you can still pause and slow down the footage. There are also tons of small improvements as well. They took the boring match intros from PPT and really spiced them up. The mid-match animations are toned down and made to be way less distracting for players. There's a new head-to-head display added to the top during countering fights to show who's currently leading. And character callouts have been changed to be mostly numbers. This makes them much easier to recognize. And while some fun modes like Big Bang and Swap are removed, the solo game mode has been overhauled. Version 1.0.3 of Puyo Champions adds a new challenge mode. This has your typical time attack mode, where you can see how many points you can get in a specific amount of time, and it even has a bit of a race mode, where you can see how fast you can get a specific score. And all these modes come with scoreboards so you can track your progress. But by far the most important change comes to ranked mode. Puyo Tetris' ranked mode was a bit of a mess. You could lose every match and still get consistently paired up with people with around 10 times your score. And on top of that, there was no way to queue for only Puyo. So with some techniques being pretty effective against newer Puyo players, you could easily get wiped out before you can even react. Champions does a much better job of matching you up with people around your same skill level, and it has separate queues for standard play and fever, so you'll only get matched up with the gameplay style you want to play. And the final nice little change comes to the win counter. In PPT, the longest match you could set up was first to 3. With higher level players preferring to play to at least 10, this was a bit annoying. In Champions, you can set the win counter all the way up to 99, so you'll have much more options in how you set up your matches. So while it's perfectly fine to keep practicing Puyo and PPT, I'd argue that Champions has the edge for people who want to play a little bit more competitively. And with the announcement of the next update adding Lessons mode, this could become the most definitive way to learn the game. PPT's lessons were very lacking. All you were given was 3 short videos on how Puyo Puyo works, and you're expected to figure out the rest yourself. It's better than some of the other entries in the series, however, some of the Japanese exclusive Puyo games included full-fledged tutorials. These were extremely handy. You actually get to practice what you're learning in a controlled environment, and you were even given hundreds of practice drills so you could quickly and easily get these forms in your head. And if Champions lessons are even half as detailed as these, this will make Puyo extremely more accessible, and significantly easier for new players to get into. But yeah, even in its current form, Puyo Champions is still pretty cool, and it's definitely where the community is moving to, so if you want to practice, that's where you should go. If you want to learn more about Puyo, check out the Puyo Discord, I'll have it linked below. And yeah, thanks for watching this video, I'll see you guys in the next one, bye.